That's Gabby. I'm PF, Psychic Frank, and welcome, sharing some time with me. And on this, the Monday, magical Monday, the 24th. Excuse me, how rude. Well, thank you for sharing some time with me. My next cable access show, for those of you who just watched me for the first time, I'm Psychic Frank. I'm a psychic who uses numerology and astrology and the tarot cards to get my message, whatever message comes through. Helps with my accuracy. No two psychics are alike, and that's what I do. I use astrology more along the lines that Edgar Casey used astrology. I don't think many psychics today, many astrologers today, consider retrograde planets past life stuff, but I do. And I went to a lot of astrology classes, in the 70s and 80s. I never heard anyone say that what I just said. It was only Stephen Arroyo mentions it in one paragraph in one of his books, very as an afterthought. So here I am in San Francisco. It's like an overcast day. Although the sun is peaking, but it's going to rain. We're going to get some rain in West Coast. Yeah, so the sun just entered Scorpio, but on Saturday, the 22nd at 4:46 p.m. Yeah, so as I said, I have a cable access TV show. It's sfc.tv here in San Francisco at 5 o'clock every the second and the fourth Thursday of every month. It is a live call-in show. It's a studio, BAVAC, Bay Area Video Coalition. If you ever want to call them about anything, their number is 415-861-3282. 415-861-3282. And the studio number is 415-861-6648. So I'm there between 5 and 52 minutes. So I guess that's 8 minutes to the hour. And then the next act comes in. It's a live, Bayback has. And thank you for Bayback. SF Comics was really kind of rough. Got off to a rough start in just around 2009. Well, I think they started with a lot of the Obama stimulant package went into Bayvac. So they got a nice chunk of money. I don't know the exact number, but paid for the studio I use, that we all use, all of us producers. I love cable access. It's democracy TV. It's democracy TV. I love that public access television. It should seek out the people whose talents might otherwise be known, not be known, and shared. Yeah, so this is my way of sharing, because I could see why there's not a lot of psychics on TV, especially cable access, because I could only speak for myself, but I'm almost 68. I am 68 in a couple of weeks, and I'm opening up more and more and more. I guess I'm a late bloomer. Several psychics back in 1980 to 82. I went to 3 well-known psychics, and they all said the same thing. You're going to be doing what I'm doing when you're 68. And I'm just about 68. So it is happening. I won Best Show of the Year last year, Spirituality and Religion on Cable Access. Yeah, it's my way of paying back. Yeah, what I do is people call the studio, and I ask them their name and their birthday, and then I tell them where their planets are, give them a lay of the land with numerology, and then I pick some tarot cards and see what messages I'm getting for them. And I love that. But I wasn't able, it's been very rough up until like 2 years ago when they fired the people that shouldn't have been there. Just talking about SF Commons at Bayvac. I hired all these great new people like Ann Simmons, ANNE. And it's been really good. It's been really good. That's why there's one thing that has to be taken care of, and that's why I'm making this video, sort of. Well, first of all, and I'll get back to that. But keep in mind, my show is 52 minutes, the second and the fourth Thursdays. That's twice a month, and it's a call-in show. And for the first 4 years, I was in obscurity. I mean, if I ever got any airtime, it was like in the middle of the night, at 5 a.m. Never. And then the new people got me at 7:30 on Saturday at channel 29 SFC.TV, and it was like boom. I got like all of a sudden, I got all these young cool people calling me, and it's been a lot of fun. I enjoy talking to shut-ins and anybody else that called me during 5 o'clock who couldn't get to a phone. But now people get, I think, going out of their way to talk to me, and I love that. But I haven't gotten to do a reading in a while on the air. And when I do my readings, a long time ago, I made an agreement with my maker that I wasn't going to distort my body like some of these psychics, and I wanted to be as natural as possible. It's enough of a freak these days, being a psychic, having this ability, but to have it, like some of these psychics would, chance channel. I wasn't going to do any of that. But what I do, it's very subtle. Either I'm on the air or I'm with people, sitting with them. When I go like this after the session, the circuit's broken. That's my bird. Gabby, she's up here. Gabby, what you doing, darling? You want to say hi? Where are you, baby? No, we're not going to get her today. Forget about that. Forget about it. Sorry about that. So, so I closed I closed the portals, and I do it very subtly. I do it in my mind. When I watch myself do readings, and then someone calls in. And it's not that I'm all taken with myself, but, if you want to get better, you watch yourself, and then you make every show you get better and better. And I notice when someone calls, my posture even changed. I could see my kundalini rising when I do my readings. And as I said, and it takes a good minute. I think even the best ones it would take, to get ready for the street. Because, so this young man called when I was there. I might as well get this out of the way. So this young man called the other day. Well, he called like 3 months ago, and then the phones went out. I took this when people call, I like to promote what I do. I want everybody. I like to buy the world a Coke. I hate that thing because I hate Coke. I don't like Coca-Cola, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so I took his information, time, date, location of his birth, did his chart, and I figured, well, next week the phones will be up. Well, 2.5, 3 months went by, and then finally the phones are up. Bayvac was, SF Commons was changing providers, and it was all, phone providers, and it got complicated. I'm not saying anything bad about Bayvac or SF Commons. I'm really happy with what they're doing now. They finally got it right. God, thank you for it's a Democracy TV, but there's a fly in the ointment, and it comes on right after my show, and I'll explain. So normally when I finish my show, when I didn't have this slot, and I got there early and there was someone in the studio, I would wait a minute or two, and then when it got to be like 3-5 minutes before airtime, I got to get in there, excuse me, but I got to get in, and they go, oh, okay, and we'll leave, because they put one act after the other, I guess, but this one woman, her name is Diane, her show is she only comes in once a month. And that's the next time she'll be there will be I'm there the second and the fourth Thursday of every month. So she'll be there. I'll be back. I'll be there the 27th, this Thursday, the 27th at 5 o'clock, channel 76, sfc.tv if you want to call in and get a reading. And then there's the 10th of October. And then the 24th, she's going to be here. Oh, no, she's going to be here on the 10th. Yeah, she's there the 1st and the 3rd. No, only once a month. I'm there the 1st and the 2nd. She's there the 2nd only. So she's going to be there on the 2nd. And what happened was, as I said, I hadn't done a reading in months and months. And I was just closing my books and closing my portals and getting ready. And she comes diving in there like a bat out of hell, saying, screaming, hey, this is my 8 minutes. Get out of here. And it's like, I just can't work under those conditions, and I actually screamed some obscenities at her. Don't put me on a pedestal, don't put me on a pedestal. Who wants to live their life on a pedestal? I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and I've had to do that a few times in my life, and I hate doing that because, I hate raising my voice. But as I said, you've been pushing me around long enough. I've had enough of this. And then she started mouthing off on me, and I just screamed at her, and walked away. And I swore I was not going to come back. You know, but that's narcissism. Narcissism. I'll show them. They won't have like Nixon, a narcissist. They won't have Nixon to kick around anymore. Now, if I stay away from Bayvac, then she wins. Diane wins. So the studio number. So then, as I said, I was at a cannabis forum Friday night, and I met Richard Rance, who has a really good show, and on cable access, the second and the fourth Wednesday at 5 o'clock on SFC.TV, cable here in San Francisco. And more political, it has Nick Fell, Galaxy Chamber. I love the show. I get a lot of my, you could call in and rant about politics, you know. Yes, Gabby, you tell him. My bird's looking out the window there. Okay, so and Denise Dorey, by the way, has a Dorey. You could YouTube up her video. She's very active in what we're up against here in San Francisco with the cannabis thing. Prop 64, legalized cannabis. It's actually the opposite. It's deceiving. Cannabis is more legal now than it will be after. But we're not gonna. We'll get into that in another show. On my show on the 27th, yeah, I'll definitely be talking about that because it's California. We got a vote for that on the 8th. So what? Excuse me. So you know, that's narcissism. You know, people who commit suicide is the ultimate act of narcissism. You know, I'll get out. I'll just leave. You know, no, this is Earthgirl. Stay. You know, we'll talk about that. That's another whole show about that because you don't really die. You just prolong the karma, and then you come back and you got to pick up where you left off. It's never easier. The lessons always get harder. I used to joke with my friend Kathy. You know. Deal with it now. It's never better in your past life. You know, you come back with a hunchback or something is going to... But if anybody... Believe me, I don't mean... Hunchbacks are beautiful. You should love your body whatever shapes it. You know what I mean? Deal with it while you're dealing with it. Okay, so... her name is Diane. Her show starts at 6 prompt. Yeah, the minute the second hand goes over the 12 sign, you know, she expects me to disappear. I was just supposed to vanish. You know, I had a question to ask the techs who come in to, you know, rearrange things. It's like, and that could all be done in 5 minutes. I should be at least given a minute or two. But I was at this event on Friday, and I saw Richard Rance was there, and I told him what was going on with me. And I said, I think I'm going to just have to be there once a month now and give up my second slot because I just can't be around this woman, Diane. She's, you know, she's just beyond alpha chick. She's just bullying, you know, self-righteously bullying me. And he said, well, just cut your show off 2 minutes earlier. And it never dawned on me. It was such a simple solution. So that's what I'm going to do. Instead, when our show starts at 5 p.m., and I'll just, at 1:45, that gives me 3 minutes to pack up and head out of there. And hopefully not even have eye contact with Diane. But just call, you know, because, you know, I've been putting up with this for like years and years. I mean, when I used to sit there in the cafeteria, you know, there's a little kitchen area where they have little vents, you know, having a cup of water and getting my notes together for my show. And she and her friends would walk by and tell me I was going to rot in hell and damnation for what I was doing. What I was doing was wrong. And they was not kidding around. This was righteous, you know, self-righteous religions. But, you know, as I said, the sun's in Scorpio now. That's why I thought, you know, my next show is this Thursday, just in a few days. And I don't want to have to eat up any of my airtime on public access TV because that's when I want to get my calls. I can't take calls from the public here in my own little apartment here, but I can take them at the studio. And I don't want to take any time talking about this on the air. There. But so right here is a good time to put it in. Yeah, and, you know, we'll get back to Diane and her self-righteousness, you know, that her path is like somehow condemns my path. Then I don't understand that. That's just too foreign to me. Yeah, so you could call her at the studio, 415-861-6648. Her name's Diane. Be sweet and nice to her. You know, she's a troubled soul. It says Scorpio is the second water sign of the zodiac. It deals with not only the depths of our own psyche, but also the ecstasy and madness of relationships. Opposites attract. Because Scorpio, the sign of the most associated with the dark, what has been relegated to the shadow. regulated to the shadow, the taboo, the veil. Yeah, I guess she sees my path as the veil, the taboo. I don't know. We may not have any planets in Scorpio or natal chart, but we all have an eighth house, and we all have a Pluto placement, which details our personal dungeons and demons, as well as our nascent gifts and destiny. Yeah, the don't throw away your shadow. You might throw away the best part of yourselves. 12th house gifts are the best. 8th house, as long as you don't look back. Anything with 8th house, 2nd house oppositions, you look back for 1 second, you turn into Lot's wife. Pillar of salt there. Evolutionary intent of Scorpio is akin to alchemy. Yeah, so and now Mercury just joined a few minutes ago. That's why I waited. I waited until just when Mercury left Libra and entered Scorpio, because I wanted to just come out. You know, nothing's perfect, but I wanted to get my message out there. Mercury conjoins this new moon, amplifying how we think about and communicate. Yeah, so this has got to be cleansed. This has totally got to be cleansed. So what I was saying here is about. I'm reading from Emmanuel here. I love Emmanuel. He's he came through Pat Rodegeist, a chance channeler. You could YouTube and get her books, get her videos on YouTube. She's only one video on YouTube. I wish there'd be more. And Emmanuel says on dark forces, semicolon, one is not invaded by darkness. One has courted that darkness. It is a matter of addressing the host rather than chastising the guest. Compassion rather than punishment is in order for those souls beginning to seek. You would not walk into a kindergarten and denounce the children as lost souls because they cannot read and write. The darkness needs to be seen, not as a threat, but as an opportunity to love. See, even though Diane doesn't know she has a dark force in her, she's probably, because she's a church-going woman, has, believes that, her path is the only one. I don't know what she believes, but it gives her the right to condemn me openly. Yeah, and even though she isn't conscious of it, deep down in her, there's wisdom, dark wisdom that understands. If you want to hurt a psychic like me, there's only one way you can do it. Because I'm pretty much protected by the light and love of the Holy Spirit. But there's that one time when I'm coming in and out of, I call it my altered state of consciousness. I call it the non-local state. Like Dr. Larry Dossey coined that phrase in his book in 80 or 89. He wrote a fabulous book on, it escapes my mind now. But Dr. Larry Dossey, an amazing guy, who's a Western doctor who's totally into alternative healings. I hope before I leave this planet I get to shake his hand. I owe him so much from his knowledge. He termed that term non-local. So when I go into my non-local state, because nobody wants to hear what I have to say. It's only when I'm in that state. And it's a very subtle one. I don't like making a big, ooh, I'm getting a trance. I'm not a drama queen, I don't like that, Oh yeah, it's another double header. I'm really open about my gayness, and I'm sure religious people still, especially Baptists, don't find room in their heart for people like me. I don't understand that either. I don't waste any of my energy when I was trying to figure it out. So there's this. Everybody's got a deep darkness. We all have a Donald Trump inside of us. We all have an angel inside. Which one are we going to feed? About the story about the wolf and the dog and the wolf, the good and the bad. And the Indian says, which one? The little boy and the Indian says to the father, well, which one wins? He said, the one you feed. So I'm not going to feed that, but I'm just for knowledge, because people watch my show, Psychic French Mystery School, is to educate people to open up psychically, because I believe like Larry Dossey, Dr. Bruce Lipton, even Sheldrake in Australia there, if we're going to survive, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the Tibetan Buddhism is a total psychic religion. I didn't realize that. I've done some amazing psychic readings in the 80s, meeting these Tibetan monks who survived the massacre. And some deep part of her who knows intuitively that unless she gets me right when I'm in that space, because to do a good psychic reading, you have to open yourself up to forces, and I trust those forces, to protect me and keep me safe. But they let this happen so I can educate people, so there's that, because when I do a reading, I lose track of time. People always say, Frank, can I have a quickie reading? There's never a quickie, always a longie. That's a line from the vampire movie with George Hamilton. It's a funny movie. Once Bitten, I think it's called. Yeah, he says, "Never a quickie, always a longie." Yeah, well, I was. Some people say, "Would you do shorter videos?" Because I don't have time. Well, you could stop it and reoccur. I don't know what computer you have, but when I set something off and then take a walk and come back, I could resume it. So do it that way because I don't know how. Because when you're doing psychic energy, you just lose track of time. Because time, by the way, is not linear. It's non-linear. It's cyclic. We'll do another show on that. So anyway, something deep inside Diane knows, unless she comes in there at that precise second and that's the only way. And she almost won. She almost got me away. She got me to scream my head off obscenities, which, if you saw the devil, you'd scream obscenities at the devil yourself. And that was her dark side, And I apologize. I sent a message back, and I apologize. And then I was just going to stay away, But no, too many people, they want me. So if you watch my show on the 27th, I'll be there the full 52 minutes. But then on November 10th, I'll be there only until my show starts at 5, and it will end at 45. I'll give myself 45 minutes, and then I'll close my psychic portals and get the... What did one shepherd say to the other shepherd? Let's get the flock out of here. It says darkness. Yeah, so Diane's in kindergarten. She doesn't understand it yet, but, I was reading some stuff about fear. She's a fearful woman. She's very fearful. I don't believe in hell. What did John Lennon say? No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine. Listen to that. Listen to the words of that. YouTube that song up. Yeah, imagine no hell. Hell is just a device to enslave people. Give them something to fear. No hell worse than starvation and what's going, the wars that are going on, the bombs, the military. 55% more than half of America's income goes to the military, and then we have Republicans saying that our military is diminished. That doesn't send a chill through you. I was just watching the China Syndrome, a movie's coming on. I saw it, the coming attractions. They're going to be showing it on Turner Classics here in San Francisco, if you get cable. And I was telling a friend of mine that was here watching it. Happened to be here, and I mentioned, that movie. I said it was 74. That's when they built Mount Diablo. Let's put a nuclear power plant right near a fault, near an earthquake fault. Okay, so get Emmanuel's book and read what he says about fear. He says, the serpent in the Garden of Eden is not sexuality, it is doubt. Do you doubt that you are here in spirit, being with function within a physical reality? Yeah, of course you do. Let me assure you that this is a common misconception. There is all too often a feeling of non-worth, of limitation, at times of hopelessness and futility. Okay, well, we'll finish this again. I got to go and answer the phone now. Yeah, I lost my train of thought there. I'll pick it up. Yeah, fear of the unknown, negativity, on dark forces. There was something else I wanted to put out here. Before I get out of here. Okay. Hey, Diane, I'm making I'm Denise, I'm doing a video. Let me call you back. I should have unplugged the phone. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, and not celebrating joy. I'm not going to repeat that because I read it on my show that's already on YouTube. Fear of the unknown. Fear of the unknown. It says, fear is one of the major cornerstones of the karmic condition. It speaks to the distrust of the eternal love. It is a disbelief in yourself. It is an extreme perversion of truth and light and love, which is precisely what your world is all about. The healing of the extreme distortions of truth and light and love. Fear is a fungus that grows rapidly in dark places of the consciousness. It is the most powerful of doors that closes off the world and the light of God. Fear is the dragon at the gate. It is the denial of the light, and denial of light is resistance to God. It is the falsehood that separates you from God. Fear is the unknown. It is the imagination. It is not reality. There is nothing to fear in the universe. Even death, which is a fundamental truth and a necessity in your particular scale of development, has nothing to fear in it. Rest yourself in the reality of God's eternal and everlasting presence, and know that I call it one mind, but God, and know that there are plans deeper. There is consciousness wiser, loving hearts far more powerful than any walk this earth, and bless you with the awareness of your eternal safety. It's not a matter of destroying fear, but of knowing its nature and of seeing it as less powerful force than the power of love. For a trick, a sham, and a slight. Yeah, it's all an illusion there. So, as I said, I just think, maybe you should call BAVAC and just tell them, maybe put an announcement to keep your religious beliefs to yourself. It should be a safe way. Public access TV should be a safe place for people of any religion to come in and not be abused by self-righteous people. It says, and also, I can't, she's never said anything about my sexuality. I know, so I can't say there's any kind of sexual discrimination going on there. But definitely, only she know and I know what's going on there. And I want Diane, if you listen to me, get off my back, honey. I'm going to avoid you like the plague from now on. I'll smile at you like I smile at everybody else, but I don't want to hear you any. Yeah, so last year, in 2015, I won Best Show, Public Access TV. People voted me Best Show, which was a great honor. After, being in obscurity since 2010 when I got started there. And she saw me in the hall, and Miss Diane saw me in the hall, Mrs. Diane, whatever you call it. And she said, congratulations, I still don't approve of what you're doing, but my husband likes your show. I said, well, your husband's bright, so I don't need your approval, Diane. What I need is for you to stay out of my face, okay? God bless you. I'll pray for you, but your fear is, if you're a church, if you believe, let's just say there is nothing to fear in the universe. Nothing to fear in the universe. Fear is only looking in the mirror and making faces at oneself. Fear of the unknown is forgetfulness. There's no such thing as the unknown. I don't know why you fear tarot cards. I don't know why everybody doesn't. The reason I'm so paranoid, because Diane, the flying Milo ointment, is just a micro of the macro. So many people are just on those cell phones instead of opening up psychically, which I think we should all be here. Our goal should be like Carl Jung. We're born human, we die a mystic. So yeah, give BAVAC a call, 415-861-3282 here in San Francisco, or even call the station. Call any of those stations, Richard Rance or Ann Simmons, ANN Simmons, BAVAC at BAVAC.org. And suggest to them that, either move me to, if you want more of me, tell them to open up a Saturday morning slot or a Saturday afternoon slot. I'd love to do like a 2 hours, at least once a year, give me 2. Because once I start running that psychic energy, it's like I'm just getting warmed up. People are just starting to call, and then I got to stop. There's no other psychic shows going on. And I maybe, even if I walked away, because hopefully I'm not going to be there forever, and I'll move into maybe another station. But I always want to give back to San Francisco. So I did briefly think about calling this show goodbye, or with a question mark. Is this beginning or is this the end? But then I read, why should I let this Diane woman, scare me away? Then she wins, No, love will trump, dark forces. And as I said, even though she sees herself very Christian and righteous and everything, what she's doing is, she needs some knowledge is what she needs. She needs some knowledge. Okay, so white flag of truce. I will not be quitting cable, because too many people tell. Because I do. I sometimes during the 4 years when I had to put up with some abuse there because of the racist guy that they fired. Gabby, they uh, people would see me and say, "Oh, my son said don't quit. Please don't quit." Because I think people are afraid to call the show, but they like what I do and they like the knowledge I pass on. As I said, when I get in there, I do like open myself up because I had to do. That's why I do better readings out of here, and pretty soon I will be taking YouTube readings out of here. So that's something to look forward to. So those of you who watch this and say, "Well, they're too long," well, break it up. I'm not gonna. I can't do shorties. I can't do longies. And so it's always never a short, never a quickie, always a longie, as George Hamilton said in that vampire movie. It escapes my mind now. If you're in San Francisco, don't be deceived by the cannabis initiative. Vote no on 64. It's deceiving. I love you for watching. And yeah, tune in. At my show, I'm doing a live show on the 27th here. Diane won't be anywhere around, but she will be there on the 10th of November at 6 o'clock. So I'll keep in mind if you want to watch my show then. I'll be back on TV then. But in the meantime, the show I'm doing on the 27th will be on public access by the weekend. But I didn't want to use the time to get that. This is like just from the people who love me and don't want me to leave public access. Gabby, and thanks for appreciating. Thanks for liking the show. Thanks for pressing subscribe. And you all are in my prayers. And let's support any psychics. I know I can't read to everyone. If you're watching this from somewhere, when you're ready for a psychic, they appear. And there's a lot of us good psychic healers out there. And alternative healing's the way. Read Larry Dossey's book, One Mind. He's a guy out of New Mexico. He's been my mentor without knowing it, my unofficial mentor. I read these kind of books you can't read once and say, "Oh, I read that." No, that's bookshelf spirituality. Reading it once and think you got it. Now this is stuff you got to read and read and read. Every couple of years you pick it up. Thomas More, another one. There's so many books that you got to read again. You read it with new eyes because you're not who you were then. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention before I go about Humara. Humara, it's an asteroid, a dwarf planet actually, like Pluto, and it's childbirth, the goddess of childbirth and fertility. Its discovery symbolizes the birth of a new consciousness that recognizes both physical and metaphysical realities. So keep in mind, the very space you're experiencing right now, so much is going on there. There's like 96% of what goes on. We only get 4% of it, unless you practice living up here. And you're not going to do it constantly wasting your energy allowance on these cell phones. I actually have a house guest, a young man in his early 30s, and he's constantly on that phone with his wife. I said to him, "You probably go withdrawals without that." And he said, "Yeah." He admitted, it's we become slaves, and people. I would refuse that. What self-respecting hippie would have a cell phone? And recently, Comcast had trouble with them. They owed me some money, and they said, "Well, no, we're negotiating a new deal," and they told me they wanted to throw in 4 cell phones. I said, "I don't want 4 cell phones. I don't want one. What would I do it for?" And they said, "Well, give it to your friends." I said, "No, I have, I wouldn't do that to my friends. Hey, I've gone 68 years without a cell number." Knock wood, and I will go more. So don't forget your divinity. Watch my live show if you can. Get in your phone at 5 o'clock Pacific time on the 27th at sfc.tv. That's sfcommon.tv. And I love you. I love you people. Gabby, where is she? Yeah, see her? There she is, right over my face. Gabby, say hi. I love you guys. Fear. There's one thing about fear is the human condition. Oh, yeah, before I let you go, I knew there was something I was stalling for, and it's really, really, really important. It's about fear being the part of the human condition. As long as you have a human body, it's just part of it, and we have to transcend it. And when you finally get to a space where you transcended fear, guess what? You die. I think we should change that. If you lived a good life and got all the lessons done, you graduate. And it's like waking up. It's like waking up, realizing you were looking at the shadow, and then you all of a sudden turn around and realize the light that was casting the shadow If people knew how beautiful it is, you'd be jumping off a cliff to become a. But you don't become angels by jumping off a cliff. You are exactly who you are. If you were a horse thief before you die, a wife beating horse thief, child beater, animal abuser, meat is murder. Work on deleting it from your body. There's no reason why anybody should eat meat. Well, there probably is, but you should be a goal. At least eat cruelty-free meat or meat without antibiotics. We eat all these meat. They're catching on. It's happening. We're waking up. Just we have to have the grace to let everybody's path. If you live your religion right, they all lead to Rome. I just met a cardinal the other day who blessed this for me, Cardinal LeVay, most beautiful man. I'm a cafeteria Catholic, Buddhist, Hindu. His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Much of what made me such a good healer is the fact that I studied with not the Dalai Lama, I wish, but these true equally enlightened beings who these old guys, nobody knows how old they are. They were I think 100 when I met them, and they survived. They were children when Chinese slaughtered the Tibetan monks, thousands of them. I have a friend, I'll leave you with this, I promise this time I will leave it to you, but during this election season, keep in mind China, human rights abuse in China is it's a disease. It's sick. It's sick, and not in a good way sick. It's really, really bad. And I have a friend in North Beach who's been living in Chinatown since the 50s. She raised her family there, excuse me, in an apartment in Chinatown. And she's dealing with glaucoma for the last 10, 15 years. And she has a wonderful doctor in North Beach, an old timer, who, out of his own pocket, hires a nurse and a little crew, and they go to Tibet for a month, 3 weeks, and they do cataract surgery on the Tibetans with cataracts because they're so Tibet and the Himalayas is so high up. They get cataracts. I mean, you got to go those really high tech dark glasses, and these people are like eating yaks for nutrition, to stay alive. It's a harsh environment without the Chinese making it harsh enough. So this year, every year, she goes to see this brilliant doctor who does this. I mean, what a beautiful man to do this. And he said to my friend, he wasn't going this year. He couldn't get a visa. They wouldn't, for the first time. He's been doing this for 30 years, long before my friend met him. Kamala Harris. Yes, I love you, but don't interrupt my show. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, so isn't that something? Let's write letters to Washington. Let's call, these people that are in office and tell them stop doing business with China until they stop what they're doing to the Tibetans. There's no oil in Tibet, but I am in my soul part Tibetan. We all are, and there's so much wisdom there. There's so much wisdom. It's such a beautiful culture. And it's a shame that what they're doing, and this, as I said, this just happened this year. This brilliant doctor who volunteers his time and his own money to go to, he couldn't get a visa, and it's not like as I said, he's been doing this 30 years. So think about that. Think about how the things that don't get on the news. Watch Link, watch Democracy Now, and support your local cable access, and get Comcast to start tagging our shows again. That would be a good thing. Okay, I love you. Namaste.